guys, I'm KiKi and welcome back to Storytime Sunday, where I'm going to tell you a brand new story about my life every single Sunday. Today's storytime is about the time that my crazy teacher had a crush on me. So let's go and jump into this video. Let's go. So guys, the story I'm about to tell you is so crazy. I still to this day get chills just thinking about it. So the entire story started when I was in middle school. This is my first day. I remember walking into the building, not knowing where anything was, and just being so nervous. I ended up going to a few classes. It wasn't until I go to my art class, and as I'm walking towards my art class for the first time, the teacher is standing outside of the classroom greeting students. And when he goes to greet me, instead of just saying hi to me, he looks me in my eyes and he says, "You're the most beautifulest woman I've ever saw in my life." Y'all, my heart dropped. This old man is calling me beautiful. And second of all, I've never been called a woman a day in my life. I've always been called a girl. So I'm thinking to myself like, oh my God, am I really a woman or am I a girl? I was so confused. I didn't understand why an adult would even say those words to me. So me being so creeped out, I just kept on walking and I walked into the classroom. When I got inside of the classroom, there was these little name tags that was on the desk and you had to find your name. So I ended up finding my name and my seat was in the back of the classroom. So I'm like, yes, I can sit in the back of the classroom. No one can talk to me. No one can mess with me. And I'm so happy that I'm sitting all the way in the back of the classroom. But that all changed when the teacher walked into the classroom. He looks at me and he says, okay, you switch seats with the boy up front. Now, I was already nervous to be there for the first time. And he literally embarrassed me by making me switch seats. So I stand up, get my stuff, and I go to the front of the classroom and sit there. As we're sitting there throughout the entire day, this stupid teacher was literally staring at me and giving me the biggest, creepiest smile on his face. After class, I was walking down the hallway and I remember talking to one of the girls that was in the class. She asked me like, do you know the teacher? Why was he staring at you like this? And I looked at her like, no, I've never met this man a day in my life. I don't know what's going on. So the next day I walk into school and I'm so nervous. I don't want to go to his classroom, but I know that I have to go to his class because that's what you do when you go to school. At the end of the class, the teacher tells me to stay after class because he has to talk to me. I was so freaking nervous, y'all. I thought that I did something. I thought that I was about to get in trouble and my heart was literally racing. So as every single kid in that class left out of the classroom, I was stuck standing there in this classroom alone with this teacher. The teacher, he goes from around his desk and he pulls out this big box of chocolate and this little tiny teddy bear. I'm looking at him like, oh my God, like what is this crazy man about to do? And he says, this is for you. This is something that I wanted to give to you because you are my first girl. And I'm like, first girl? First girl for what? I was so confused. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand. He said, you're my first girl. I want you to have this. So me being a kid, I love me some chocolate. I love me some candy and I really wanted to have the chocolate, but I definitely didn't want to take a gift from this creepy, crazy guy. So I took his gift from him and I left out of the class. I found the first trash can and I threw it into the trash can because I definitely was not about to eat nothing from this crazy man. So as I'm walking through the hallways, out of nowhere, I hear some footsteps behind me. I turn around and it's the crazy, creepy teacher walking behind me. He's looking at me and he's like, babe, where did you put the candy that I bought you? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I left it in my locker, blah, blah, blah. Like, I didn't mean to leave it in there. I'll get it after school. So I go to my next class. When I get to my next classroom, I'm sitting there. All of a sudden, I hear a knock on the door. The teacher, she goes and opens the door. And who walks into the classroom is the crazy, creepy teacher. He walks into my next classroom and he's talking to the teacher. I can overhear them talking and he's saying he needs to take me out of class because he has this special assignment for me. So the teacher agrees to let me leave out of the class with this guy. I get up from my desk and I leave out of the classroom with the teacher. As we're walking down the hall is literally empty. Everybody is in their classroom. We walk down this one part of the hall where it was dark, nothing was going on, and one of the classrooms was locked and no lights was on in the classroom. As we get closer to this classroom, he goes into his pocket to pull out a key. He looks at me and he says, listen, I need you to keep a secret between us. Are you able to keep it secret? I'm looking at him like, a secret for what? I can keep a secret. So he says, as long as you keep this a secret, I will make sure that you pass my class and I will give you an A. So he unlocks the door. He grabs me on the shoulder and he tries to pull me towards the door. And as he was pulling me towards the door to get me in there, I just started backing up and I ran for my life, you guys. This is the fastest that I probably ever ran in my entire life. I ran so fast down this daggone hall. I'm sure people thought that something was seriously going on in the school. So I'm running as fast as I can away from the crazy teacher. I make it to the nurse's office, and when I get into the nurse's office, there are literally tears in my eyes trying to come out. The nurse looks at me and she says, "Baby, what's wrong with you? Is everything okay?" Now, I was so nervous, you guys. I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to do anything wrong. So I literally looked at this nurse and I lied to her. I said, "Oh no, like something is just wrong. My stomach hurts. Nothing is wrong. It's just my stomach." So the nurse says, "Okay, you can go in the back room and you can go and lay down." I went to lay down and stuff, and I just remember laying in this little nurse's bed and just crying so bad, you guys. I was so scared. I was terrified. I didn't know what was going to happen. Like, why would a teacher say these things to me? Why would a teacher buy me this stuff? Why would a teacher do this to someone like me? I was literally in middle school. So then at the end of the school day, I remember walking out of the nurse's office and just being so scared. I didn't know where the teacher was. So every single corner that I walked by, I was just looking around like, oh my God, is he here? Is he here? Is he here? I was terrified. Like, was he going to follow me home? What was going to happen? I didn't know. The next day I go to school and I was debating with myself, do I tell somebody or do I keep this to myself? Because I remember he said to keep this a secret. And what if he tries to do something to me if I tell somebody? So I decided not to tell anybody. I went to my class and I ended up going to the art class thinking that the teacher was going to be inside the class. I go to open the door, and when I opened the door, you guys, the teacher was not there. Thankfully, a substitute teacher was there. The substitute teacher said hi to the class and stuff, and he said, "Your teacher will be out for a very long time, and they're going to be our substitute teacher." Come to find out, you guys, that teacher that was teaching, he no longer works for the school, and we had that substitute teacher for a long time until we got another teacher replacement. So I don't know if the teacher got fired for doing something like that to another student, or if he literally just left the school after I ran away from him. I still don't know what happened to that teacher, but it was the most creepiest situation I've ever been in. So you guys, that is it for this story. Don't forget to go down below, like this video, and as always, I love you guys oh so very much. Thank you so much for watching.